need to upgrade. Like I feel like my reality was small, and then I would have a lot of fear. I mean, this is always the case, and then I push through the fear, and then the upgrade comes. But it is now I understand that it's just it's necessary. You know, even I was thinking about it now. That of course it gets better the more you do it, the less it. I wouldn't say the less it is, but you get used to it. You know how to navigate with it. But even before coming to this podcast, I still had the moment that I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? How am I going to say? Then I was like, okay, I see it. I accept that it's there. It's normal that it's there, but I move on and I'm present. Otherwise, if I give it attention, then that's exactly when I'm not present that
Yeah,
I cannot talk
I
to
love it.
you.
I love it. I love what you said that we are actually just get used to it because fear is always there. It's a lie that there is no fear.
Expensive, unfortunately. So they had to leave to sell the yacht. And then the new family that bought it was the exact opposite. So they were the most grateful people I've ever met after me. Like super, super deeply happy of being there and really recognizing now, even though it's normal for them, they actually have a lot more money than the previous family and a lot more fame and just like everything more. But at the same time, it was, they are deeply aware that that's not normal, like that's something to be really grateful for. And I remember, it's just a completely different vibe. I remember like they would wake up in the morning and really look outside into these gorgeous views and be like, oh my God, what is this life? And also, apart from that, like the way that they were treating stuff, it was completely different. They asked me questions from the very first day about my family and what I need to upgrade. Like I feel like my reality was small, and then I would have a lot of fear. I mean, this is always the case, and then I push through the fear, and then the upgrade comes. But it is now I understand that it's just it's necessary. You know, even I was thinking about it now. That of course it gets better the more you do it, the less it. I wouldn't say the less it is, but you get used to it. You know how to navigate with it. But even before coming to this podcast, I still had the moment that I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? How am I going to say? Then I was like, okay, I see it. I accept that it's there. It's normal that it's there, but I move on and I'm present. Otherwise, if I give it attention, then that's exactly when I'm not present that
Yeah,
I cannot talk
I
to
love it.
you.
I love it. I love what you said that we are actually just get used to it because fear is always there. It's a lie that there is no fear. Welcome to Creatorland, Maddy. I'm
Thank
very
you.
happy about this podcast. I'm excited. I'm pretty sure we're gonna just unpack in the flow a lot of interesting things. And it's already a tradition. I ask every guest introduce themselves first.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Maddy. I'm gonna share my story very soon, so I don't want to say too much. But I am in a big transition from working as a stewardess on a super yacht to now creating my own business where I get to coach people and share what I've learned along the way through my life. So it's a very big, exciting time of my life. But yeah, I
That's
don't.
amazing. And that's what we're gonna be unpacking because like we will not jump from the end, we'll jump from the start because when you mentioned that, well, I was working on super yachts with billionaires and I was traveling, it's like, wow, everybody say, wow, that's a dream life, right? It's like a dream. So share more about how you got this dream, even because I know you grew up in a small village or town, like small place, right? So
Yeah.
how did you decide that, yes, I want a dream? Like, how did that happen for you?
Yeah, so well, it starts actually from a very young age. I grew up, as you said, in this very small village in Italy, where really the reality around me was not particularly exciting, if I can say so. But I've learned very early in my life to just dream big. So even though I was living this reality. I was a very shy kid, which made me spend a lot of time having internal conversations and going through through thinking processes in my head. Um, I remember dreaming big since I was very small, but I think this is something that every kid actually does. But the difference is that I always had this, what I remember very vividly is just having this certainty, knowing that I could do whatever I wanted to do. And more than that, I think the my thinking process was that I could be whoever I wanted to be, and it was just a game of playing a certain role, really. In fact, I was reflecting on my life lately, this last week also, before coming to this podcast, and one thing that came up that I think really shaped my way of thinking has been going to acting school for many years. Since I was a very, very young kid, I was like 5 or 6 when I started. And I think that's where I've learned this. So it's the embodiment of the person that I wanted to be. Apart from that, it was cool, of course, dreaming and visualizing thing in my head, but I was also a bit disconnected from my external reality. So I wouldn't really have many friends, or I just wouldn't engage in other conversations, because all I was waiting for was the moment that I could leave my house and just go and build this life that I was dreaming of. And then when I was about 16, 17 is where I started to join groups online of, I remember joining groups on MySpace of these girls that were a little bit older than me. And they were so cool and independent, and they were traveling a lot, they were going to concerts, they were doing cool things. And that's where I got the excitement, because I started seeing that that is a possibility. It's not just in my mind, but there is somebody out there living that life. So I just need to be in proximity to those people and do what they do, and that's it. So that's where I started to embody the dream a little bit more. And I remember that's when I started also, going out travel a bit more. Of course, I had to ask permission to my parents at the time, but I was going to these concerts, and then somehow we would always be able to end up at the after parties. And I built that. It's like I had two lives in that time. I was going back to school and acting very shy, like my own kid, people pleasing, to like agreeing with anybody, just not having an opinion. And then I would go to these concerts and parties and really be myself there. So that's when it started.
That's amazing. You mentioned something. I want to stop you right there. You said, I think every kid dreams. I think, yes, it probably maybe we all dream as kids, but what's special about you, about our story, what I love, you kept these dreams because, as kid, yes, we play, role play, we dream, but then there comes the time when we like, there are two ways in life, and for some, it just stops. It just stops, and the voices take over the society, the parents, the school, the should, they take over. What's special about your story, and why I'm sharing it, and I love bringing it up, is that you didn't stop. Yes, you were shy. Yes, you were in a small village, but yes, even though you were not yourself fully in your environment, still, like, you didn't stop. And yes, no, that's not everybody's story. I want to really show this to you, that it's not everybody's story, and it's very, very special that you didn't stop and you actually embodied that. Yeah. So how did you move then out from your village? How did you go further?
But thank you also for telling me, because of course for me that's just normal, because that's my story. So it's nice to hear it. And also to respond to that, I really think that comes from strong faith. I always had, I mean, not faith in a specific God or religion, but I've always had this very big connection to whatever divine is. So the faith plays a very big role in all of this for me. So no matter whatever circumstances I ever had, I always knew that it was for my highest good. So that's something that I guess pushed me to just keep going and doing things. But anyway, then of course, I finished school, and that's when I could finally go and build my life. And so when I was 19, I finished high school, and my dad, more than my parents, really cared that I would go to university. It was very important for him. But I couldn't, I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to study in particular. So I just picked something that could have been cool, that it was fashion design. But I wasn't really interested much. It wasn't like my passion. So I had to try and enter university, and I had to do a test. And my plan B, if I didn't pass the test, was going to London, which I've never been before. And luckily, I didn't pass the test. And I tell you luckily now, because back then it was very sad for me that I didn't pass it. I studied a lot, and even going to London, it was something that, of course, exciting, but I was very scared. I wasn't as confident as I am now. So I didn't speak English first of all, like really, pretty much nothing. In fact, I was failing at school even. Um, then I didn't know anybody, and I've never been before. So it was really pushing myself out of my comfort zone. But I had to go because I said so. So then I went, and there it expanded my world even more, because there, of course, I got to meet so many people that that did the same thing, that basically were brave enough to leave their home country and go somewhere else and build a different life. So I saw very many different people with different stories, and that expanded my perception of what's possible, you know.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Actually, I want to, because I have a lot of followers who are Ukrainians, and the
Mhm.
English language is also an issue for many of them because it's not native language for them and they want to study. And I really love how you say, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And I know so many stories. Every person who actually achieved their dream, who is, having beautiful results at once, actually all the time they push themselves out of their comfort zone, and they do it again and
Yeah,
again, and it's never comfortable. They're never
never.
confident. They're always scared, always. Like, and even now, no matter what level you are, you always go next level, it's still the same,
A hundred
but they
percent.
always say it was worth it. So I just want to say, whoever is watching us, if there is something that you're afraid to do but you're excited, you will always go back and they say, wow, good, I did that. And it's not that scary, right? When it
A
just goes with
hundred
the flow.
percent. Honestly, and my life has been exactly that. So always pushed, like I would feel the need to upgrade. Like I would feel like my reality was small, and then I would have a lot of fear. I mean, this is always the case. And then I push through the fear, and then the upgrade comes. But it is now I understand that it's just it's necessary. You know, even I was thinking about it now. That of course it gets better. The more you do it, the less it. I wouldn't say the less it is, but you get used to it. You know how to navigate with it. But even before coming to this podcast, I still had the moment that I was like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna say?" Then I was like, "Okay, I see it. I accept that it's there. It's normal that it's there, but I move on, and I'm present. Otherwise, if I give it attention, then that's exactly when I'm not present, and I
Yes,
cannot talk
I
to you."
love it.
So,
I love it. I love what you said, that we are actually just get used to it, because fear is always there. It's a lie that there is no fear, because when you expand, there is always fear and there is always uncomfortable. But at some point, once you face the fear and it was nothing, you face another fear and it was nothing, third, fourth, and you're just, oh, okay, that's just nothing. It's just, something that, like a filter, a door that I have to walk through and go
yeah,
straight
yeah,
to the better version. So I love it how you said you just get used to it. You see it and you just still come to podcast, go to London, go to whatever new job that you're taking. So
yeah.
from London, you got
Yes,
to jump
yes.
to the
So
next level, right?
from London, then I had a very long relationship there. So I've been together with this guy for 7 years. And then at the end of the 7 years, we were starting to have relationship issues. And so we together decided to move away from London because London is very cool, but also there I started working a lot. That's when my high achiever personality started to kick in. So I was making good enough money, enough to live comfortably, but I was working like crazy hours. And so was he. So we decided that it was enough. And we, we didn't know where to move, but we had to move like kind of quickly because of the situation. And so we just randomly, not randomly, of course, because nothing is random, decided to go to Palma de Mallorca, which is actually where I'm now in this very moment. I'm only here for a month, but I'm here. And that was the second jump in the unknown. This time a little bit more comfortable because once I've done it already, second, I was with him. So I wasn't completely alone. But I couldn't speak Spanish. And I had no idea how it was to live there. So that's the second jump. And then from there, miracles. Because I was like, I didn't care very much of what job I would get. At the beginning, it was just, okay, let's just start over, get any job, and then let's start building something. So I got a job in a cafe. But again, it was not random because this cafe was owned by a lady that used to work previously on super yachts. Now, I had not even idea. I knew, I guess I've seen a yacht before in my life, but it was not even, I would say, in the field of my awareness. I never thought about a yacht or working on one at all. But here she was, and she now opened this cafe. And not only she had a cookery school next to it, where she would invite Michelin star chefs to give lessons to chefs that wanted to work on super yachts. Mm-hmm. So I started to know all these people, to meet all these people. I think also connections has a lot to do in my life. I was looking at my human design, and it's very true. So I just meet always the right person that leads me to the next thing.
Which one is are you generating manifester?
Yeah, manifest.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
I know. Anybody that has this strong drive and mission is a manifest generator.
Yeah.
So I meet anyway. That happened. And then I was, I met all these people, and they started talking to me about yachting and how you make so much money, you travel the world. It's a very, very cool job. It can be very toxic. It can be extremely good. It's an industry, so it's like saying working in fashion is bad. Not necessarily, but there's a lot of extremes there. So anyway, so then that idea of working on yachts came to mind, but I was still in this relationship, and my boyfriend at the time was a chef. So we said, okay, let's both work on yachts, and then we save some money, and then we open our coffee shop. That was our idea, just because. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, it was very hard. Like it's a very niche industry, so it's not that easy to find to get the job. You need to be like qualified or know someone or whatever. It's not just anybody gives you a job. And I never worked in luxury before, so I was just a waitress. But I worked for this lady, and she had very high standards, and she was new in the industry, and I was doing a very good job because I was hustling. And so anyway, then COVID happened, and so me and my boyfriend decided that we would go both get a job, but you can't get a job on the same yacht, so we would separate ways. And then everybody told me exactly that it would take a very long time, like probably up to a year to actually get the job. But that's when I started manifesting consciously. Like before, I've always kind of got to the next level. I would want something and I would really push and get it. But here it was the same, but a little bit more, I was a bit more conscious of what I was doing. So I started this embodiment game again. And this time I remember that during the time that I was looking for a job, I would literally tell people that I would meet for the first time that I am a stewardess on a super yacht. I was just like saying it out loud, which for me, it wasn't even lying. I was just convincing myself so much that that's what I was doing. Uh, and even I would buy, like, the polo shirt, and I would dress like that. So I was one of them, basically. Um, And then I choose what kind of yacht I want, because the yachts can be, we're talking about 40 meters, 100 meters, like there's a million different possibilities. So I knew the size that I wanted, the kind of yacht that I wanted. And within 2 weeks, I got the job through the connection, because
Yeah.
somebody was looking for someone, Justine was there, she knew about me, and that happened. And now that was super scary, going back to fear. Imagine, like, I look now and I sound very confident. I know that. But I was also the kid that was super shy. So it's something that I kept training myself to be. And I was always faking it until now. I think that now I am kind of confident. I'm still a little bit shy, but I am more confident for sure. But when I went on the yacht, I was imagining it's like everything is perfect, it's super, super luxury. And I'm a waitress. I mean, I know how to learn things, okay, I'm not saving lives, but still. And I started working in the kitchen, but it's called galley in a yacht. I never worked in a kitchen before, but I was just helping the chefs. But they were like chefs, like a Michelin star, that they are like very, very serious and like going very fast. And I was just there. I was terrified, but I loved it. Like, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Because I went there, first of all, well, then I can't tell you everything in this one call, but also I broke up with my boyfriend, that relationship that wasn't serving me anymore. When I went on the yacht, it became very clear, because I was out of the familiarity, so I could see it very clearly. But apart from that, that started a whole huge process of deep self development in that yacht.
So it's like you saw, first of all, I like, see, look, your life, you always change the circle of your connections, of your communication, and new opportunities appear, and you
Yeah.
see what's possible. Because when we're staying in our bubble, like, we only know what we know. When we're swimming in this aquarium, we only know the aquarium, and we think that, well, everybody lives like that. Well, no, not everybody live like that. No. And even whatever we think is possible, there is even better things possible, but just we don't even know unless we start getting into the rooms, putting ourselves, like you did, in the environments. Wow, okay, so somebody, somehow, they got this super yacht, right?
Sorry,
Some person, like, somehow the people that were owning this yacht, somehow they got it, right? So it is possible. If it's possible for them, it's possible for anybody, I would say. So how did you find these people, rich people? Like, people think that, well, when you are rich, it's like, that's it, no more problems, it's all about, freedom. But I know it's not true. So what did you
Yeah.
observe?
Yeah. So, as also a very observant person, that's been a beautiful place to put me, because I would observe a lot, not only in the people that own the yacht or they would come as guests, but also in the crew dynamics. Like, I've learned so much about myself and about life. But in that sense, I've been very lucky, because I worked for two different families within the 5 years that I've been in the industry. And that gave me a very good, now I see why I've worked with these two families, because they were very different. And they gave me a big understanding of how to create wealth, actually, and how there's two completely different ways of building and of creating success, a successful life, whatever that means for you. So when I joined the first family that was owning the yacht, they, of course, had a lot of money, because it was a very big yacht. It was a 75-meter, 20 crew just for a family, so it's a lot. But they would always come on board and be deeply unhappy. And it was mind-blowing to me, because you have literally anything that you can possibly want, and you're still unhappy. And even I remember when this is just a little story, but it was the owner's birthday, and they asked what's the wish, and the wish was a bigger yacht. Now, why do you need even a bigger yacht? It was already way too big for a family. But apart from that, it was always a matter of, like, wherever we would go, it was, oh, it's too sandy, the water is too cold. Like, it was, honestly, it was impossible to find something that they would be happy about. They were always fighting, always chasing the next things. Also, in terms of, like, in relation with the staff, they were very disconnected. So they would probably, they knew the name of maybe like three people working there, and that's it. Like, they never asked me what's my name or anything like that. And that was the exact representation. You know, when people have limiting beliefs about money, like, oh, money's evil, it's only for these bad people, and money doesn't make you happy. Yes, they were exactly the representation of that. But then, thank God, I had also the experience of the exact opposite. So, because also they were operating from the States, they had issues. They had to sell the boat, basically. I don't want to go too much into detail.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, when you're also very attached to wealth rather
Yeah.
than giving, that's also what happens, unfortunately. So they had to leave to sell the yacht. And then the new family that bought it was the exact opposite. So they were the most grateful people I've ever met after me. Like, super, super deeply happy of being there, and really recognizing how, even though it's normal for them, they actually have a lot more money than the previous family, and a lot more fame, and just like everything more. But at the same time, they are deeply aware that that's not normal, like that's something to be really grateful for. And I remember, it's just a completely different vibe. I remember, like, they would wake up in the morning and really look outside in these gorgeous views and be like, "Oh my God, what is this life?" And also, apart from that, the way that they were treating stuff, it was completely different. They asked me questions from the very first day about my family and what I do, and they are the same people that after I worked for them for 2.5 years, probably, because it was half of the time with one family and the other, even though, like, obviously we built this connection, and like, it was, yeah, there was a good relationship. When I left, they told me, "I'm so happy for you." So you see what I mean? It's a very complete different way of being wealthy. And what I've observed, knowing the stories of how they built this wealth, I can tell you very clearly that the first situation, the way that they built wealth was through, I would call it now, like an ego success. So it's result driven. It start, like, the fuel is, I want to make money, I want to be successful, so I do this, and that to make a lot of money. And when I reach a lot of money, I need more money, and then I need more, and then I need more, and it's never enough. And that comes from ego, so, like, from a survival, strategy. I'm not enough, so I need to prove you that I am enough. And maybe when I have that, I will be enough. And that's unfortunately how many people build success, but they think it is success until they realize that it's not. The other ones, they became very successful, but knowing the story, it's never been about, that's never been the goal. It all started from a passion that they had, and a conviction that actually, unfortunately, I can't share the story. I can't say, names or what's the story. But even more interesting, it was really creating a person, like, it was a passion. The passion was the driving force, but then it was really about building this persona and being devoted to this higher self to come into existence, and then the wealth created around it. And now I get to enjoy my wealth because I am true. I've been loyal and true to my true calling, and it's completely different.
Yes,
Completely different.
it's so different. I love it because that's exactly Creatorland philosophy that we live.
Yeah,
We play our game of life because life is a quest, it's a game. We play in two modes. The first is survival. We all play there. But when you reach a certain point, you're like, okay, I don't have to play survival anymore. I can just switch to go to creator mode, uncover what is my mission, what is my purpose, where is my creator wealth
exactly.
identity. So that's exactly, yes, my philosophy as well. We have survival wealth identity and we have creator wealth identity.
That's
And it's not only
exactly.
about ego, actually, survival. I would even add that it's not only about proving somebody. In many cases, people live, even those people who are spiritual and consciously aware, they still have specifically wealth identity based on survival when they undercharge, when they think they need to
Oh,
sacrifice, when they need to serve. So in all cases, it's not only about like direct
mhm.
representation of ego, but yeah, it was amazing how you had this experience of completely two opposite wealth models, the survival wealth identity in its finest, which is brilliant, right? It's brilliant result, but at what cost? I mean, like it costs way too much. There is sacrifice. And then you have the creator wealth identity, somebody who has a mission, driven by passion, by the desire to create, desire to
So,
make this world better. And wealth is just by product, but you also
yeah,
have to accept and receive it. So we're actually talking. Oh my God, my earbuds are falling. But we talk a lot. When I talk about this podcast, I announced it. I said from force to receiving. So I wanna, because you're a manifester, you've been manifesting unconsciously first and consciously, but it was coming to you at a price. Even at the yacht, yes, it was amazing. So can we share that, like about the force and about receiving? How did you
yeah,
realize
yeah.
that?
Of course. So, well, obviously, also through these mirrors of these two personas I worked with, but also in general, I started when I was on the yacht. I started journaling a lot. So I never went to therapy or coaching, but I've always done it for myself. So I was very aware. I would ask myself a lot of questions. I would become a lot aware of my thoughts and my patterns and blah blah blah. So I've realized that I was also in a smaller scale doing that. So as a high achiever myself, I've always pushed through. As you saw, I mean, yeah, as you said, I manifested a lot of things, anything that I wanted, but even promotions at work, because then inside of that container, I also kept progressing. Anytime I wanted, when I was not qualified, I would just really act as, and I would speak my way in situations. So I've always done it, but that way of manifesting, I realized that it was just never enough. Like I would reach a goal and then I was like, okay, now, and it never felt like super fulfilling. I wanted that, then I would get it. Okay, now what's the next? What's the next? What's next? What's next? So I was also doing that in my little way. And same with self-development. I need to better myself. I constantly need to better myself to fix something. Of course, it is a more empowering way of living than being a victim of your circumstances. Otherwise, I'll still be in the village in Verona. But still, it comes, as you can see, it comes from a lot of from survival. It takes a lot out of me. And the only way that I really woke up to this illusion, that I saw it very clearly, has been about a year and a couple months ago, that I met this guy online. Well, I mentioned him just in case somebody wants to check him out because he's amazing. His name is Gabriele Martinelli. He's Italian, but he does everything in English. And he introduced me to meditation. And he was talking about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind and all of that. And it, to me, I mean, I realized that all of the work that I've done, it was all mindset work. So I've mastered my mindset, okay, to think positively and always get what I want. But it's always been me pushing against this resistance of the resistance. I thought it was the personality that I'm operating from. I mean, I am like this, but I want to be like that. So despite I am like this, I act like that. But now I understood through him that it's actually not like that resistance. It's not who I am. It's just a subconscious program built on repetition from the past. And it's just neurons wired together that I can unwire and I can completely change the operating system. That it's not an absolute truth of who I am. It's just a program. Easy to understand intellectually, but then when I started meditating, that became a knowing. So that was the really, like, that was the awakening for me, because it's not just, okay, I heard Joe Dispenza before, now I get it. And I was, whoa, changed my life completely just like that. And so I started seeing all these patterns. I started seeing how I was a high achiever, like why I always wanted more. Why? Because that's like how I was proving my worth was through achieving and people pleasing. And I saw it so clearly. And so I started all that work while I was still on the yacht. But I started saying things like, it's not okay to work 15, 16, sometimes 17 hours a day. It's not okay to not have a day off in 3 months during the season. Like, I started seeing a lot of things that for me were okay before, as that's not the price for success. I choose to believe that that's the compromise, that I need the price that I need to pay to have a good job, to have a good money, but it's not a truth. So started changing that. All my people pleasing, I started noticing every single trigger that I had during the day, even the tiniest one. And I would look at it from the light of awareness for what it was, and I could break the pattern like that. Like, I became really good at it because I kept doing it. So I broke so many patterns and I completely changed my whole brain within kind of 6 months to a year. I mean, I'm still, of course, you can always do more, but within 6 months, it became like completely different. And that's when I also couldn't be there anymore. I couldn't ignore my colleague anymore. And, it started, originally there was a bit of anger even in there, because I was like, this is bullshit. Like, why am I here? This is like, I was really angry, yes, at the industry and how it could be so much better. Like, it's a great job. There's no need to have these conditions. But I'm also aware that I was in the first place. I remember, when there was other people, like other girls that would come to work on the yacht and they couldn't handle the pace. I remember that I would label them as lazy, I would say they are just not cut out for this, and I kept saying also, I remember this now, now it's funny, but I also used to say, it is a privilege to have this job, so you have to earn it. And if you can't stay without having a break, then obviously you don't deserve it. Like, you're not cut out for it. That's how I used to think. It's crazy now, because of course it's all beliefs that I've learned, and it's not true. So now it was really difficult, because that's when I decided to quit the job and really start building from my purpose, which to me is giving what I've just received. So this major awakening that I had completely changed my life at all levels, and it really freed me. And now I want to give it back, and I couldn't ignore it. But the price to pay for this aligned life is really an ego death. Like, that identity of mine had to completely die. And with it, I had to question all that I believed before. Obviously, a lot of people that were my friends and family, because we were like working and living together, they started seeing me as a completely different person. And so I've lost a lot of them. Some people think that I'm crazy even. And that was really painful. It's okay. I'm really okay with it now, because I understand it. I probably would have thought the same a few years ago, But to me, that is the only compromise. Like, the only price to pay to live the life that you actually want is accepting the previous identity to completely die, and then you realign to the new, to whoever you want to be, and then there is a huge reward.
Absolutely. When you become true to yourself, then you can allow real people who match your new identity to be in your life. But it is painful. It is painful. A lot of times, the industry of manifestation, self awareness, spirituality, they only talk about the reward part, but they don't talk about the price part. And it is painful. Yes, it is rewarding to be through you. But the process, when you lose your friends, maybe when your family don't understand you, when you're at some point you're the only one who understands what's going on, and nobody is like, you're trying to talk to people and explain to them, and nobody explains to you that you're in just in this level of the game when people that will not hear you. Everybody have filters. It's not you, it's not them, that's just is, but you don't know this at that time, and you're like,
Exactly.
why they don't understand me? Like, it's like I'm trying to help them, they can come with me. And at some point you have to understand that not everybody will come with you, and that's is a painful part.
Yeah,
it is
exactly. That's
it is, yes,
exactly.
and people don't talk about it. Yes, it's rewarding, yes, it's
Of course.
obviously
I
you will
mean,
do it, yeah, but it is painful.
I think a lot of people, uh, when either when you stop at the very beginning, so you're like, okay, no, I don't want to face all of that. But then, or you start and then it becomes too much, because there is a moment. So I always say, when you move from one identity to another, because I think during life you will keep upgrading. So it's a
You
constant
will,
thing.
all the
But
time,
more,
non-stop.
but more than upgrading, I think you are aligning, like you're getting closer to what really is you. So it's more like you're chipping away, chipping away, chipping away.
Yeah.
But there is a moment of void, right? Like it's like you unbecome something and then you become something. In the middle, there is the nobody understands. You lose your friends, you lose everything. Like your previous reality collapse. Now here is where faith is important, because you need to just know, trust in the unknown, trust in the unseen. That, and no, and also the commitment to bring that new version of you into life. So there is a lot also of, I guess, self-love. For me, it's like that version of me that I can only see in my imagination. I love it, and I want to bring her to life. So I pour all of my love into it, and it doesn't matter if what's the price, like if I'm losing other things, because I'm committed to it. And that's really, I think that's needed for you to keep going, to really you to push through that fear.
Yes, absolutely. People don't talk about stage. We look at somebody who already like at that chapter 39, and you say, wow, like amazing life. They're doing their purpose. They're making money. They're traveling. They're happy. But there were stages to it,
Of
and they
course.
still are going. And yes, as you said, you will always not upgrade. I love it. Come in, removing the layers, because that's what Creatorland actually about. We have a creator identity, our core identity. This is the core identity, the one that is underneath all the programming, the core. But
Uh-huh.
you are not getting there right away, even not from the first
Exactly.
awakening, not from the second. There are like several awakenings. You're like awaken one layer, then you're deeper, deeper, deeper. And the deeper you go, the more close you get to your core
Yes.
identity. But yes, every time you strip off a layer, strip off a layer. And it's fun, actually. At some point, it becomes fun. At some point, not at the beginning, it's painful. Then it just
Yeah.
becomes fun game. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely. For me now, it is starting to get fun. It is. It took me a good, I'd say. I mean, after 6 months, I was committed to it. Like there's no turning back. I think once you become conscious of these, yeah, of course you can decide not to listen to it, but it's kind of inevitable. Like you're too aware
You
to
don't have choice.
enjoy.
It's gonna push you. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like okay, but I remember like after 6 months, because then I became hyper aware. So when you start, and I mean, I know you know this, but I'm saying it just for whoever is watching. But when you start really seeing everything that happens to you and every interaction you have as a reflection of you, and you don't think about it, but you just automatically know it, your only job, I realize, it's not like bettering yourself, but it's really bringing that unconscious part into the light, bring it into consciousness. But it is not a fun, it's not always fun. Sometimes you have to have the conversation that you don't want to have. You have to set the boundary. You have to say no. You have to say yes when your mind is like, oh no. So at some point there's been a phase in which I was saying, maybe I just go to sleep again. I don't want to know. But now, no, now it's there is the others. There is definitely the other side. As we said, it's not like the fear goes away or it becomes absolutely necessarily fun, but it becomes way, way easier and just kind of
Yeah.
automatic thing that you do while you move through life, right?
Yes. I love what you said that you have to do the thing because again, industry, I didn't come to awakening through spiritual industry. I never was a church goer. I never actually did any, I never sat in meditation more than longer than 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. And even I didn't do many meditation. Also did from mindset work as you, a lot of mindset work. And then it just happened and I saw it. So I was kind of lazy. I was high achiever, but I was lazy, So I was like, yeah, I don't want to retreat, traveling somewhere. I don't know. Now I understand it's differently, but yeah. So do the thing. So what I'm seeing, observing in the industry of spirituality, a lot of people they come to Creatorland Academy, and they are energy practitioners, and they are Reiki masters, and still they are not, embodying their core identity of creator. And the real thing is they don't do the thing. As you said, I love what you said. It's like we have to highlight this, and everybody here, you can know, you can be aware of your patterns, you can be spiritually awakened, but you have to do the thing. You have to
Absolutely.
face it. Even if the life is your mirror, that's like what you said, like life is reflected and it's showing you uncomfortable parts. There was a part, and there is always a part when you're so awakened and you're so grateful that you're like, well, it's part of me. I understand it. I accept it. No, you have to say, fuck off to this part of you. It's not to the person. Person is just your mirror. But when you say fuck off to the somebody, it's not the person. It's this programming, old programming, and you have to set the boundary. Have to do the thing. You have to
Yeah.
go through this. And it's you confirm how everything changes after that. When you do the thing, the uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, and that's also the reason why I used to. Maybe you haven't even seen it, but I used to be called the manifestation coach, but now I've changed it because there's nothing wrong with manifestation. Of course, that's what I'm teaching, but it is like the interpretation of the word manifestation that unfortunately the basic understanding is that you feel the feeling, you visualize. It's all true. I do it a lot. I visualize every day. I meditate every day. I feel that, practice feeling the feeling. I repeat affirmation. I do all of that, but that's just aligning a part of you. But also action, like action is part of the alignment. So it's not just like if you really broke a pattern, okay, then life will present you right away. I'm telling you, like it will happen every time. It will present you an amazing opportunity to prove as a in form of action that you actually uh, um, that you have upgraded, that you are now operating from that persona. If you don't respond to that, you're going back. Like
Exactly.
that's necessary. And then yes, it is true. Like again, in the concept of manifestation, and I had this so many times when when I'm very aligned, which is not all the time, by the way. It's a process also for
Yeah.
me, of course. But when I am really in a flow state, I really have the crazy synchronicities or the person out of nowhere that comes to me and gives me exactly what I need. I experience it so many times and it's beautiful, but I don't rely on that. It's not like I'm waiting for that to happen. Like that happens because I am so aligned and I'm showing up through thoughts, words, and actions. And then that thing comes, but that's like a bonus. I can't wait for that thing, for the synchronicity to appear out of nowhere. And that's when I started, like, my concept of manifestation also shifted as it's, you know.
Yes, there is a lot. A lot of people they know the concept of manifestation, manifestation intellectually. Okay, if I visualize, and some things they are working out. Like I remember that part of my life when I would like manifest, free coffee, or manifest, parking spot. I would manifest maybe even vacation that I want. I manifested my car, like I dreamt of Porsche. I really wanted Porsche, and then boom, I am driving the Porsche. I'm loving it, and then stuff. But then I was like, um, it's just felt so little to me because I'm
Yeah,
like I felt I was asking from universe, God, like I was asking for something. And then when I got the deep awakening, when I realized everything is me, so I'm asking literally myself, so I can just become the person, and then my mirror will reflect me. So this is complete. You cannot call it manifestation. Is actually a natural state of who we are. We are,
exactly.
everything is us, right?
Manifestation, exactly. Like manifestation is how reality works. It manifests. The
Yes.
unseen manifests into seen. That's it. But yeah, no, that's why the whole rebranding, because I still use all the practices. Of course, they're a big part of me achieving what I want to achieve, but more than achieving what I want to achieve, because I don't actually even have that very super clear, vivid picture. It's more I know exactly who I want to become. And the more I free myself and align myself to that being, the more things come to me as opportunities, and I'm ready to say yes. Before, I wouldn't even see them, or I would feel like, oh, fuck, I can't say yes because maybe I'm not ready for that, you know?
Yes.
So it's a bit different. It's just a different approach, I guess.
I love it. I don't even have vision board. Like I have a vision board which is completely empty. I hang the vision board in front of my bed in the bedroom, and I'm like, I cannot make myself print stuff there because I know there is so much more that is being
Exactly.
manifested, and I'm like, I don't want to limit myself even with the what my mind knows. But that's what happens when you connect to your core creator identity. Then you are just kind of know that it's gonna be amazing, and your brain will not even think a dream of it, and it's just gonna manifest for you. So I love how you say that.
Exactly.
I feel it more than defining the specifics, right? So you kind of feel it
Yes.
inside, and you just have the direction of a compass, kind of. I'm going this direction, but you don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna be there, unfolds
Yeah.
there. It's so
I
crazy.
Yeah, I think having a like a visual image, or like knowing what you want as a thing, is only it's a tool. Like it is helpful for you to feel the feeling, because a lot of people, if you tell them like just be the person or feel how you
Yeah,
would
of
feel, we
course,
don't know how to do
yes,
it. So I think actually that's like a stage. You go from victim potentially.
absolutely,
Again, I've never been there myself, but you go from victim to you creating your reality through this process, to
yes.
you being the thing through which reality happens for you. So I think it's just three like stages of
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely. What I believe that whatever we have in the world, like whatever we know, the tools, the retreats, the meditations, the manifestation, the visualization, all of it is necessary because at every stage, there is a tool that you need to build enough neuropath because you cannot just go from I have no idea about how reality works, and then embody an identity. Even you will, what is embodying identity? You will
exactly
be like,
what does
what's
even mean.
happening? What does it even mean? And plus, you need to kind of believe we have filters in the brain that say, what? We create our reality? Well, no. But when you start to play with it, when you like put this car on a vision board, then you have it, you do this, and you have it. You're like, oh,
Exactly.
so just build neuropath. And I'm not saying anything about the industry that we don't need it anymore. We all need it because we're all in the stages and we
Exactly.
go. But just when people are ready to go to different levels, that's when important. Do not stay. Like if I were advice to myself back, and I will ask you to do the same, to give advice to yourself back, I would give only one advice. Do not think that what you've discovered, this is it. Like do not ever think if something you discover it works, you're so fun with it, you're happy, do not think that this is it. Never, ever, ever. Just know that this was a stage and it will bring you more, 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 more. And the more you go, the more, more, more you see. So it's so amazing. What
And
about you?
it's never ending, really. I believe myself. Like it's just a constant. It's a constant thing that you do.
Yeah.
You said something. Wait, I don't want to miss it. You said something that was really that I wanted to add something. Um, that was really interesting for me, but I forgot now. Um,
About the tools,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
manifestation.
Okay, no, actually, I got it. Very important. I was thinking about this today, and you just mentioned something. Technically, you don't need to understand it to change it, right? But what you just said is very important because for me, I've read about manifestation a million times. In fact, of course, it's not like I started yeah, I did start meditating and all came to obvious understanding, but I come from a background that I've already done a lot of self discovery and I've read a lot of books about it already. So of course it kind of just clicked then. But for me, the bridge, like it's like I heard so many times about how reality works, how reality is a reflection of you, blah blah blah. But to me, for so many years, that was something that cool. Like, okay, sounds very interesting. I want to believe it, but I had so many filters. Like my logical mind saying sounds a little bit like magical, a bit woo-woo, like what is it? You know, I want to understand it, but sounds weird. So to quiet my logical mind, the bridge has been really understanding the science behind it for me personally.
Yes.
Now, I guess that's how my brain and also in my human design, I need to really go in depth and understand it to then accept it as a thing. So yeah, it is a process. Like I understood how the brain works, how neurons connect, how emotions are chemicals in the body. And once I understood it, my mind was like, okay, we can trust this, quiet down, and then I could actually have the experience. So, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
process.
everything is necessary. And science is now catching up with everything. Okay, bye bye. It's gone. Science is catching up now with things that, spiritual teachings were sharing these things. Now science catching up. So it's fun. I think we're in a completely different now timeline where these things that we're talking about, it's now gonna be no longer magic. It's just
Yeah,
it's no longer magical. It's just basic science, and it's gonna be more and more and more,
yeah,
spoken about. Because I don't know now a person personally who doesn't have never heard about meditation or manifestation. At least like they exist somewhere, but not in my field anymore. So it's like
exactly. But
basic
they
thing
do
now.
exist because I mean, yeah, it is right. Like, yes, it is basic science, but I promise you that a lot of people that I used to know to hang out with not too long ago, they think that I'm crazy. So it is obvious to me. It is not obvious to
No,
everybody.
yeah,
But
of course, but I mean more and more and more and more, and it's
yeah,
like becomes contagious. So
yeah,
it becomes contagious, and the
yeah,
more people they see it, the more science catching up. Now there is technology. For example, I stopped meditating for a long time. I just use technology now. I literally use technologies that breaks my patterns. I like you don't even have to spend hours of meditation, and it's so fun. But yes, of course, it unpacks it next,
yeah,
next, next levels. It's so fun. So I really love this conversation. We talked about force, about being high achiever. We talked about two different versions of wealth that you're so lucky, just not lucky, like I know it was your path, but to really experience it from first hand that wealth can be this and wealth can be that,
yes,
and you got to choose, and you chose your path, and now you're showing people how they can create the different version of their success because you understand them. That's why it's so
yeah.
valuable to come to you, because you've been there, you've been the high achiever, you walk this path, and now there is another way and you can just open the door. And I love it. So any big launches or plans coming soon, or something that you're working on?
Yes, I am actually launching a program. It will be a live group coaching starting in middle of August. So I haven't launched it yet with a specific date, but it will be middle of August. And it's exactly for these kind of people. So somebody that already has a good life. So it's not someone that is a victim of their circumstances, somebody that has already built something but feels like there's more to it and wants to actually build from purpose and from giving also from impact. So it's a 3 month journey. It's identity based, of course. So it's definitely not for those that don't want to face their fears, because there's a lot of work, but it is the real work. And on the other side, there is freedom and actual impact. So yeah, and of
Cheers
course,
to that. Cheers to freedom.
yes,
It's so amazing. Yes, I really love your story because you showed how success and money and everything that can put you in a cage, right? You had the money, you had the travel, you had the life and access to these people, wealthy people and celebrities and so on, but you were trapped. You were not living your
yeah,
purpose. And now it's completely different. And now, yes, there are challenges and there are fears, and but you're free because it's no longer leading your direction. I'm so grateful for this conversation. So I like to end up with, what would you wish to yourself or tell to yourself, let's say 1 year ago? Because sometimes it's so valuable, just to
mhm,
go back from that perspective and say
yeah.
something.
1 year ago. Well, 1 year ago, I was starting this awakening. So I would tell myself, just trust yourself, and you already know that it's gonna work out. Like it's working out. If I trust yourself and actually trust yourself more than asking other people for advice. Just trust yourself. The answer is always there. Yeah.
Yes, because all the answers are inside.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, we
Really.
should really trust ourselves more. I love this advice because we look for external validation a lot. Like, is this true? Is what I'm feeling true, right? Is this what I'm saying? But then when you just like, you know what? That's
Yeah.
inside. Yes,
It
and trust
really is.
yourself.
It really is. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing, Maddie. Thank you so much. It like the time flied. Somehow I didn't notice. I love talking about this, about manifestation, about who we are, about identity. And I encourage everybody, go check Maddie's page. Her videos are amazing. They bring up, like, I love you recently started sharing more of your things, like what you felt, like more vulnerable, and it's so valuable. So just keep doing what you're doing and don't stop. And I'm excited to see you, in another year where you're gonna be and how things will unfold. And maybe
Yes.
we'll do another Creatorland episode and say, look, you see, 1 year was this and now that. And it would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, everyone who was watching. Please go follow Maddie on Instagram, check out her program, and give us information. Like, comment. Let us know what you think. Do you have something to share? Something to add? Did you realize something? We're excited to read your comments. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you. Bye.